Yo, what up, Street Dogs? Eric Kim. All right, the thought. This one is on curiosity, and the question is, how curious are you? So I found that in life, one of the most important things I've personally pursued is curiosity. The things I've been personally curious about, like I was always curious what it was like having a Leica or a digital rangefinder. Hello, shooting film. Now I guess having a kid. And becoming financially independent, retiring early, blah blah, and curious about cryptocurrency and stuff like that. So it seems that in life, anything that I've been really curious about, like greatly curious about, and I pursued, I've been able to succeed in it because curiosity is the ultimate motivator. Curiosity is autotelic. Auto means self, telic, telos meaning like purpose. So autotelic is you do it for the sake of it, and that's the reward in itself. So pursuing it for your curiosity is the goal, not just doing it for money or whatever else. So, and it's hard because growing up, in America or wherever, you're not encouraged to follow your curiosity. You're actually encouraged to, swallow information, obey the teacher, and so forth. And especially in like Asian Confucian culture, anything that's not academic is bad and kind of stupid and a waste of time. I'm very fortunate that I grew up with a very liberal Korean mom. So she was actually very supportive of me doing this whole photography, street photography, blogging thing, and she was behind me 100%. And I think maybe even that's a good way to parent is, beyond a certain point. Let's say the kid's 12-year-old. I felt like I was a fully formed human once I was 12. So once your kids are 12 and up, you kind of encourage their curiosities and you support them as much as possible, even though it may not seem financially rewarding or whatever. Still being practical. I still went to college. I got an internship. Got a 9-to-5 job out of college because I actually never thought that I could do my photography as a full-time living, and then now I'm doing what they call the notion of having a full-time job and having a side hustle. Actually, I think it's a pretty good strategy. So and then it's sad too because as adults, sometimes we forget what we're curious about, or maybe we don't have any more curiosities, and that's the ultimate sadness. Even for myself now, now that I have financial independence, retire early, fire, right? I got a kid. It's almost hard because I almost have to force myself to find things I'm curious about, and so that's actually kind of a bad position to be in, where you're not really curious about anything anymore. And so right now I'm just kind of focused on maybe motivating others, because I feel like I'm so grateful for all the mentors who got me to where I am now, and now I feel like I've made it. It's my duty to give back and pay it forward. So anything you're curious about is generally what you care about, and I think you need great curiosity, great passion. You need you cannot be a little bit lukewarm, curious about it. So for example, I was at a certain point where I have a certain rule. I call it the 2 Leica rule, or the 2 Lamborghini rule, or now the new Tesla Model S Plaid rule is only buy something if you could afford to pay for it in cash, and you could afford to buy 2 of them. So let's say a Leica, and lens is worth $10,000. Only buy one if you have $20,000 in the bank. Only buy a Tesla Model S Plaid was at $120,000 if you have $250,000 in the bank. And the funny thing is, I've realized once I could actually afford these things, like a Lambo, Tesla Model S, right? I'm actually not that curious or interested in it. And so I'm starting to think too is a lot of things which are outside of our reach. We think we want it because we can't afford it, but once you could afford it, it actually is a real test whether you're actually interested or not, and I'm actually not that interested. So I've always been interested in cars, car design, stuff like that, but I don't really think I'm that curious about it that I'm actually willing to, shell over, liquidate my cryptos to do it. So I'd probably be more interested in just holding the crypto until baby Sen is, at a certain age where he can start businesses and stuff like that. So my great call to action is try to figure out more what you're curious about, pursue it with great zeal and passion, and if you're not sure what you're curious about, spend a lot of time to think about it, reflect, and figure out what your heart really cares for.